Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our Digital Asset Conference. Our next presentation of the day is from AVAXOne Technology Limited. Please note, you may submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for a one-on-one meeting by clicking Book a Meeting. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Jolie Kahn, Chief Executive Officer of AVAXOne Technology Limited, which trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol AVX. Welcome, Jolie.
Good morning, and thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning to all. Thank you for joining this broadcast this morning. We are AVAXOne. We are the public market gateway to on-chain finance powered by the Avalanche network. We are also the first and original Avalanche-based DAT strategy company. So pleased to talk a little bit about us today. I think we'll skip over the usual disclaimers. We all know what they say. The next thing that we want to talk about is our why AVAXOne. It's a good question. There are several reasons why AVAXOne, besides the fact that we're the first up in this space. We are giving you exposure to a category-defining blockchain. Avalanche is emerging as the preferred settlement layer for institutional finance tokenized assets. It's supported by global asset managers, fintech platforms, and policymakers, among others. It is intentionally purpose-built for the institutional on-chain finance. The reason it is so is that the founders decided from inception to operate at the intersection of public markets, regulation, and blockchain infrastructure, doing so in an extremely efficient manner with the goal of being efficient for institutional finance. We have multiple reinforcing value creation engines. Long-term value is driven by a combination of AVAX ownership and compounding. Our yield in the ecosystem when you participate is also evident. And we can also expand our platform through, as I've already mentioned, fintech enablement. It's a scalable platform. With institutional-grade infrastructure, DeFi participation, and M&A optionality, we are able to create multiple paths to growth across market cycles. What does that mean? As I will talk about a little later, that means that not only are we a DAT strategy, but we are able to use the technology upon which the coin is based to better the on-chain finance world and access to that. We also have experienced leadership built for complexity. We have crypto native management and a board with deep experience in regulation, cap markets, and operating at scale in complex, highly regulated environments, also with the experience in all sorts of crypto, including various altcoins and Bitcoin. We are also aligned with regulatory adoption tailwinds. What does that mean? We are looking to benefit from accelerating US regulatory clarity and institutional adoption of tokenization, stablecoins, and the infrastructure for on-chain finance. As we are seeing through the Clarity Act and other measures, this is the time to focus on the regulatory and adoption methodology. As I've said already, we are looking at crypto as becoming part of the mainstream and entering its institutional era. We are very supportive of policy regulation and adoption as it continues to create significant tailwinds for digital assets. As you can see from the slide that's up, there are various stakeholders in this mix. We have the regulators who are looking to really bring comprehensive and clear regulations. Among those regulators are obviously the SEC. You can see the quote from Commissioner Pierce. There's also the Federal Trade Commission who's involved, and various other regulators in the US and worldwide. There are also institutional investors who are very interested in the long-term longevity of this space. Over $170 billion is invested in the top 10 digital asset ETFs. That means that we have the BlackRocks of the world holding very significant stakes and supporting this in the long term. We're also looking at the federal government. President Trump signed an executive order that has really made it easier to include alternative assets like crypto inside 401ks and other employee retirement plans, among other supportive measures that are wending their way through Congress at the time. If you can see throughout earlier in 2025, several of these measures have come to bear, and we are also looking at some further adoption in the coming weeks. There is the first Bitcoin ETF, which came in January of 2024. Bitcoin price has increased by over 100%. The price of Ethereum is also somewhere in the 70s. So Avalanche's inclusion in the Bitwise 10 crypto index in December is also a very strong indicator. So really now is an inflection point and a great time to invest in our company and to get access not only to the strategy of the Treasury, but also our other modes in which we are going to take advantage of and support the Avalanche ecosystem. The other thing to look at is RWAs and stablecoins. It's really a rapidly expanding market. Stablecoins are becoming core institutional measures. We have a graph here that shows that they're at approximately $300 billion today. That is an exponential growth over the last 5 years of about 60 times. Tokenization is also unlocking traditional capital markets because there's adoption by institutions such as banks, asset managers, and credit platforms, and that will support the long-term growth. We also look at these as a convergence of money and capital markets on a programmable blockchain infrastructure. Avalanche is a sub-second finality with custom blockchains and compliance-friendly design. What's very important here is these are secure measures. Once you're on the blockchain, it stays on the blockchain, and that really provides a lot of security, including helping with our national security because it is carved in stone, so to speak. Let's talk about Avalanche at a glance. Institutional adoption and RWA leadership. As I have stated, this is important. We have institutions like Apollo, Citibank, Colbert Kravis, and JP Morgan behind this. Very, very important. This lends major credibility. Robust Web3 solutions. The Avalanche blockchain empowers partners to build fully customizable, interoperable Web3 ecosystems within their blockchain infrastructure. There is superior versatility, sub-second time to finality compared to ETH's 12 minutes at a max, and compatibility with Ethereum smart contracts and developer tools. Size and scalability. Right now, we're currently secured by 1,700 full validators and 800 plus live decentralized apps, with many more in the pipeline. It's also clean and sustainable. The blockchain uses 8.2% of Ethereum's energy and several 10,000% of what Bitcoin uses. So it is obviously highly efficient, sustainable, and a wonderful green solution. Avalanche tokenization and industry partners. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but as you can see, there are many that are familiar to all of us. And that again adds to the credibility and the long-term sustainability of Avalanche. We have an operating playbook. We are building the on-chain financial economy powered by the Avalanche network. And that is very important to us. We are supporting the larger on-chain financial economy. AVAX is a wonderful tool and means to achieve that goal. So several things here that are really important. One is the platform expansion capabilities that we've discussed. Reinvest to build the financial ecosystem. That's what we're looking to do. Capital formation. We've raised capital. We closed our PIPE in November and raised capital to acquire more AVAX. The core yield engine. We are also staking the AVAX, which is important because that means that we've got another revenue stream built in. And we'll be talking more about that in the coming days. Compounding and cash flow. We're compounding our AVAX holdings and using that to generate free cash flow. This is a self-reinforcing model designed to grow AVAX ownership, generate yield, and build this on-chain infrastructure. We also have several other measures in the works. We talked recently about our third-party validator platform that was established last week. We will also be talking shortly about our M&A that we've hinted at through the past few weeks and what we intend to do to acquire businesses so that we are able to take advantage of our on-chain platform. So here is the executive team. You have myself, you have Chris Palomini, our Chief Financial Officer, and Pete Wiley, our COO. The common bond that we all share is that we are seasoned executives and veterans in the public markets, and also specifically myself and to some extent Pete, we are also very, very knowledgeable about crypto and have worked in this space. And Chris Palomini brings a long and storied career as a CFO, and the three of us are a wonderful team. Pleasure to work with these people, and we look forward to creating value for our shareholders. Multiple levers to generate revenue and sustainable on-chain yield. There's native AVAX staking, which is the core yield engine. We've got liquid staking and in the future staking derivatives, which we will be looking into in the near future. There's incremental yield through MEV and validator optimization, and selective yield enhancement through provisioning and ecosystem participation. All of these have their benefits. We're looking to add non-dilutive revenue sources to the company to generate a higher MNAV and also increase shareholder value. Here is a chart of staking rate comparison. As you can see, as a method of generating revenue, the only one who beats us is Solana. So we're pretty proud of this and intend to take full advantage as a way to provide revenue generation for the company. Fintech M&A strategy. I've alluded to this. We have our little M&A flywheel here. Really what we're trying to do is reinvest cash flow and compound platform value over time. We are looking to acquire proven fintech platforms that will add and accrete to our generation of income and also growth of shareholder value. We will also migrate core infrastructure, and we will go ahead to enable new on-chain products and yield opportunities. Institutional grade DeFi opportunities. This is something that lots of people have talked about over time, and I truly think is a big opportunity for us. We can get into lending and borrowing, capital efficient yield through established audited protocols. DEX and liquidity infrastructure is also important because we can generate fees from that. RWAs and tokenized finance, on-chain settlement and programmability for tokenized funding and credit. And then also liquid staking and yield products. We'll also be exploring this. We offer a mature, institutional-ready DeFi ecosystem that enables selective risk-adjusted participation across multiple platforms. And when I say we, I mean Avalanche as supported by AVAXOne. Investment highlights. We're pretty proud to be the first public market gateway to Avalanche and the first public debt strategy. We're also very proud of our advancements into fintech M&A and on-chain enablement strategy. We have not yet executed, but we have our plan in place and we are moving towards execution. We also believe that the strong regulatory and industry tailwinds will help us. The Genius Act, the Clarity Act, Project Crypto, etc., will really help move this along. And with this stability, it drives credibility and further mainstream adoption. We also have our leadership team. We haven't really discussed our board or our advisors. And if at the end we have a minute, I'll be happy to do that quickly. Attractive yields and compounding opportunities. Staking has historically delivered higher native yields than Ethereum and Solana, with in-kind rewards that enable long-term compounding, which means when you stake, you get more AVAX, and so you're compounding the growth by having an asset that will appreciate over time. We're also aligned with the Avalanche Foundation. We're strategically aligned with them, and we believe we are positioned as the flagship public market participant in institutional blockchain adoption along with the foundation. You can go ahead and contact us. You see our investor relations information. I will be very happy to also speak to anybody who's interested. You can reach me. My email address is jkahn@avax-one, the word one.com. You can also reach me through Telegram and other platforms, and I do not have that contact information off the top of my head, but we can provide that to anybody who's interested. So thank you very much. I would like to take a minute just to talk about our wonderful board of directors and our advisors, if that would be of interest. So we put this information in the appendices. We have two strategic advisors who are very well known in the crypto space, Anthony Scaramucci and Brett Cheshpol. They both need no introduction, very, very talented, very well known, and we're honored to have them working with us. We also have our board of seasoned crypto people. We have Matt Zhang, who's our chairman. He is also the founder and managing partner of HiveMind, which also acts as our asset manager. I work very close with Matt, and it's a pleasure and an honor, and he brings a lot of really strong talents and as a member of the board and leading us as chairman. As directors, we have Xiaoxiao Zhu, who is a digital operating partner at KKR, another wonderful asset. Young Cho, who I will have to say is a fellow Cornell alum to myself, and I will also comment that Avalanche was first developed at Cornell University, so very proud to be a part of that legacy. Young comes from the public company space as CEO and CFO. Very, very, very proud to work with him. Our chairman of our audit committee is Dan Mendez. He is the founder and managing partner of Blockcore Partners and lots of great audit experience at Deloitte. And our last director, who was previously on the board, Amy Griffith, is a lobbyist and comes out of multiple Fortune 500 companies, and an honor to work with Amy as well. We also have the HiveMind team that's involved with our asset management. They do all the technical work on the AVAX side for us. And you can see their bios here. Again, Matt, Jake Greenstein, who heads infrastructure and is really a very strong advocate, and I work with on a daily basis. Richard Skeet, another managing partner, very strong in the space, very good resource for us. And then also Emmanuel Valode and Stanley Ho, who we work with our chief operating officer. So there you see where you can contact us. Again, you have my email address, and we can supply other ways of reaching us as people are interested. Okay, I'm happy to go over to the Q&A. My one problem is I seem to have lost on the screen where I can go over. Oh, here's the Q&A. I'm sorry. I just saw this platform 5 minutes before. And okay. So I'm trying to figure out how I maximize this and not having any luck. Hold on. Okay, I've got it. Okay. So we have some questions here. I'll try to get through as many as possible. The first question comes from one of our investors who asks, the Genius Act and Clarity Act provide clearer federal frameworks for stablecoins and digital assets. How do these laws concretely expand your addressable market? They concretely address our market by providing clear-cut and demonstrable regulations as to how these assets are to be regarded. For instance, with the Clarity Act, we are looking at the ability to determine whether these assets are commodities or securities, a long-standing issue that has been on the minds of many lawyers. By background, I'm a securities lawyer for those who don't know me, and something that's very important for us. There are other clearer ways that are very important where we're able to really know who has jurisdiction over the assets. It also makes it possible for people to go ahead and talk about whether you can have these assets in retirement accounts, etc. Next question is, how are we balancing near-term execution with longer-term strategic goals? Well, we've discussed throughout the presentation our long-term goals, which are basically to be all things AVAX and to support the full AVAX ecosystem. Our near-term execution, such as our becoming a validator, is an example of going beyond a simple DAT strategy, and also what distinguishes us from other DAT strategies in the space, and really take advantage of the coin and the technology behind it to really bring that to the larger fintech economy. Next question, how does AVAX's strategy position the company for long-term growth? As we've discussed, we are not just looking at the DAT strategy. We have that as a core component, but we are also looking to execute on an M&A strategy to bring in other cash flowing businesses, which will benefit from being on chain with AVAX. We are also looking at the staking revenue, and we'll be looking at other revenue through derivatives, etc., as we move ahead. We're talking about building the Berkshire Hathaway of the on-chain financial economy. What will this management team do differently from past crypto or small cap stories that overpromised and underdelivered? That's a very good question and a very important distinguishing factor. As I just said, answering last question, we are looking to develop long-term cash flowing platforms, whether it's through staking or acquiring businesses that have cash flow that will benefit and become more efficient and hopefully drive profitability by being on-chain through Avalanche. Next question. How does your background align with your role as CEO of AVAX? I was general counsel to a very large Bitcoin miner for several years, so I know the ins and outs of crypto. As a lawyer, I represented other crypto companies. So my background, although as a lawyer, I am a securities lawyer and a finance lawyer. So I have seen the actual deals and the structures and what works and doesn't work. So all of that background is very useful as I look to run the company and bring lots of value to shareholders. What are your thoughts on your competitors in the space? I think that our competitors are all trying very hard. I am proud to be working with these people. We have had several challenges across the board recently. The value of crypto across the board has pretty much dropped. That has lowered shareholder value out of our control. But obviously, I look to support us and support our shareholders. But at the same time, I do not believe in cutthroat competition. I believe we all are better off, when possible, to be able to work together and promote cryptocurrency as the wave of the future. The next question, what are the top 2 to 3 execution targets for the next 12 months so we can objectively track progress? So our top 2 to 3 execution targets, we're under 3 months into this. So we're really still developing what we plan to do. At this point, I would say getting some M&A activity actually closed is definitely on the radar screen. In fact, I have my team in this week, and that is a topic we will be discussing. The next thing is really just continuing to generate revenue and cash flow, and at the same time being as streamlined as possible to keep corporate expenses down. That's always been a priority of mine. The less we spend, the more AVAX we can buy. The less we spend, the more we can dedicate to M&A. So I believe that answers most of our questions. And we will also talk, one last question I will answer. Our board authorized up to $40 million in buybacks. Under what conditions would you prioritize buybacks over AVAX accumulation? Obviously, it's a goal to keep MNAV as close to 1 as possible. It's a balancing act. We discuss daily what we should prioritize. Right now, we are looking at supporting the company, and we will continue to do buybacks. We haven't given numbers out, and I won't on this call, but you can be assured that we examine this on a daily basis, and we look to, in the future, continue to prioritize buybacks, but also AVAX accumulation, market conditions permitting. And that's all I have for today, and I thank everybody so much for listening to the presentation and look forward to further engagement with the public and our shareholders.